So
I will tell you, he got a lawyer, dog.
And did he get it?
I don't know. So they're going to jury trial. The cool thing is...
I thought he got him off already.
No, not yet. Somberg is representing him pro bono. But
That's Sonny?
no,
Sonny?
the city... What?
Sonny Bono?
Yeah, the pro. The city refused to give the dog back, but they would give the dog back if the client agreed to plead to three misdemeanor charges.
Yeah, we're going to hold your dog hostage. And it's
so my point
extortion.
is... Yeah, exactly, because if they would give the dog back if you plead to charges, then they don't really actually care about the safety of the dog.
Right.
Because if it was really
he must have been endangered
if
really
it was
bad.
really about the safety of the dog, they wouldn't ever give the dog back no matter what.
Sure.
So go to hell, city.
Yeah.
What is it? Sterling Heights,
Sterling
Michigan.
Heights. Yeah, we've heard a lot of bad things. Sterling Heights. Go screw yourself. I had a friend this evening in Michigan.
Oh, really?
It's hard to believe. I know.
It is.
In Michigan, we're one of the, 5 or 6 states that are required to disclose if you have a concealed pistol license.
Yep.
And this person texted me and said, "Hey, I just got pulled over by the police, and after I gave him my license and everything, he said, 'Are you sure there's not anything else you have to say to me?'" And she's like,
You mean he? It was Steve. What do you? Why?
He, Steve, what?
Huh? He said what?
He said, she said, "Oh, yeah, I have a CPL, but I'm not carrying my gun at the time." "Oh, you have to disclose even if you're not carrying your gun. That's the law."
No, it's not.
And
Nope.
this person was kind of upset by that because they knew what the law was. So he is going to write an email to the police chief explaining the law and asking him to train his officers better than they are now. We get that a lot. We hear that a lot from police.
Was it Sterling Heights?
I don't know what city it was.
So why did you assume the chief was a male?
I just assume because of white privilege.
That doesn't make any sense.
But as a scientist, what I would do is I would look at the probability of it being a male, because predominantly there's probably more. Well, I know there are more male police chiefs than there are female.
The leader of the largest police force in Michigan is a female.
Yeah, that's because she knew somebody.
She's not doing too well.
No,
right
she's getting some pressure by some groups.
Some groups,
yeah, some groups.
All right.
So you want a list of the states where you're required to disclose?
We already did this.
No, we didn't.
I guarantee we already did it because we talked about Oklahoma and how it was interesting that you have to inform private property owners.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, it's Alaska, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, and South Carolina.
What I found interesting about this list, Brian, Oklahoma, you must...
Wait a minute, this is starting to sound familiar.
You also have to inform a private property owner if you're entering their property.
Even if you're not carrying it?
Well, that's the law.
Like this cop thought. We hear that a lot in the state of Michigan here. The police say, "Oh, you have to." Then when they're showing the law, then they always revert to, "Well, it's a courtesy. You should do it, because that puts the officer at ease." Usually it heightens the officer, but oh well.
I don't know. I don't think that's true.
That
hasn't been my experience.
Well, yeah. You've been pulled over a lot more than I have.
Yeah. It often does have a positive effect on their mood and their way they interact with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the Michigan State Police.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Same ones that are going to be swabbing your mouth out?
Anecdotally. Yeah, right. Always consent to the swab.
This is old news, but I don't know that we talked about it with the... do you remember that nurse that refused to draw blood on a police reserve officer who was involved in an accident?
I do.
And she was dragged away, handcuffed, and put in a car and stuff.
Yep.
Seems like that police officer was fired.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought she got some kind of settlement.
Yep.
I don't remember how much it was, but it was pretty nice.
It was $500,000.
I would take it.
I mean, you can arrest me if you want to give me $500,000.
Really?
And not actually take me to jail.
Oh, because that's where the sodomy starts.
Yeah, well, they didn't. I mean, that's the thing. She didn't even get in the car.
No,
really.
They put her in the car.
Well, in the car, okay.
Yeah.
But the car didn't move.
Not far.
Yeah, and they probably had the AC on
Maybe.
for her.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It's Utah. It never gets hot there. It's always cold.
Well, that's a good point.
So the Utah hospital announced a new protocol. Nurses will no longer be allowed to interact with law enforcement.
Yeah. Here's
Probably
the
a good
thing.
idea.
How do you enforce that when the cop shows up and says, I want to talk to the nurse?
Right. They'll no longer be allowed to do that.
Because the hospital having a policy worked so well in this case when the nurse said, here's our policy, officer. Right. So
But they didn't have a policy that she couldn't talk to them.
Oh, if that would have been the policy, he would have said, oh, have a good night.
It's one more stage that removes them.
Oh, I know, I get it. Sure. I think it's a good idea. Don't talk to the police.
The lower house of the Czech Parliament has agreed to alter their constitution so that firearms can be held legally only when national security is threatened.
Was this Czechoslovakia?
No, that Czechoslovakia no longer exists.
Really?
Yeah, we just have the Czech Republic.
Constantinople, then? Istanbul? Constantinople?
Well, I think that's...
Is that unrelated?
It's unrelated to the Czechs, but it's that's a difference without a what?
I don't know. Okay.
Distinction without a difference. So the amendment gives Czechs the right to use firearms during terrorist attack. Well, how do you know when that's going to happen? Why,
what does that mean?
Why can't we hold guns all the time in the Czech?
What do you mean held?
That's all it says.
I mean,
firearms can be held legally when national security is threatened. I don't know what that means. Do they issue them?
Like physically hold them? Like otherwise you just have to kick them along the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, you just
I don't understand.
You keep them locked up in your house, but
how do you get them there?
Ooh, good point.
I don't get it.
Maybe the Czech Republic police take them there for you.
This is real confusing.
Anyways, the move, it hasn't become law yet. It's only in the lower house, but passed by a big majority. The move by Parliament is a challenge to the EU gun control rules, which restrict civilians from possessing certain kinds of semi-automatic weapons. Excuse me. So, the EU is very anti-gun. They're along with the UN.
For sure.
They don't want citizens and civilians
socialist.
to have guns.
Yeah. You remember that doctor that got torn off the flight? I don't remember.
Oh,
it was in Chicago. It was United Airlines.
Oh, he got bumped.
He got his face bumped off the seat.
I'm sorry, sir. We've oversold and you must leave.
Yeah. You remember that guy?
I do. What happened?
People actually got in trouble over that. It looks like a couple of those employees that were involved got fired, and a couple others quit or were being suspended.
Ooh.
So that's good.
Are they going to review their protocol or how they handle things in the future?
No, not necessarily, but they took care of these guys.
Yeah, these bums, see? Yeah, they're gone, see? Yeah. They won't have more problems, see?
I think the biggest issue was the reports that they made of the incident that weren't.
Yeah, I read some stuff that they were creative in their writing.
Creative, that's good, yeah.
The real problem, of course, is overselling, which goes into the airlines.
Sure.
Let's see.
I don't know.
I got one.
You got 1 minute.
Okay. Well, in Cincinnati, there was an off-duty police officer.
Oh.
Remember who confronted a bank robber?
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was found he was justified, of course, to do all that. But the bank says, we don't want you to come back here. Key Bank Security later called the officer and told him his business was not wanted there anymore.
Wow.
The bank's policy is to give robbers what they want and worry about catching them later.
Yeah, well, seems ridiculous.
I guess. But instead of being, patted on the back for a job well done.
Yep.
Sorry, we don't want your business. Well, screw you. There's a lot of banks that'll take his business.
The interesting thing is that he was an off-duty police officer.
Right.
And he was treated like anybody else by the bank.
Well, which was a good thing, I guess, because it's fair. But the whole issue is whether it was you or him, it would be just as bad.
It's weird. It doesn't make sense to me. But I would want to go to a different bank if that's how they felt about it anyway.
Right.
So we are out of time.
All
though.
right.
See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.